We were good then. I could have called out Grayscale EDC.
Well, here, call him out again.
Sucker.
I will call him out again.
Do it.
Yeah, no, new guy on Instagram that me and him just started following each other. He's only got 700 or 800 followers, but he's doing fancy photography, and he's called Grayscale EDC. He's actually a fellow Albertan. And hey,
Not
man.
down with the swirl.
Hey, man. I'm pretty sure he saw my post of this knife and then realized I was a Canadian guy and then probably realized I was in the same province. He's like, all right, we're friends now.
Did we just become best friends? Yup.
Yeah, exactly. Where's that cutout to Step Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends? Yup.
That's it. I just want to give a quick shout out to John and Mississauga. Cheers. Sorry we went on break as soon as you showed up. We are back now.
Here for another hour or so. So
that's it. Quick question from Zinc CDC for us. And is there a brand out there that you hate and you would never buy again?
That I hate?
Hate.
I strongly dislike Gonzo's unoriginal, ripped-off designs, but I've never bought one, so I don't know if I could say again. I don't know. I don't know that there is one for me, but that's probably the closest thing, too.
Nothing that I've gone in blind and then learned to hate the company because of my experience with, but there are definitely companies that have the ill repute that I would never buy, such as Gonzo or stuff like that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep this as non-lawsuity as I possibly can.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you better. Yeah.
But this company right here, and I don't regret this purchase. This is a phenomenal purchase that I got. But Microtech, I cannot see myself personally purchasing another Microtech again.
Yeah.
He said the name. He's so sued.
Would you buy one? Question for you, Dennis.
I said I personally cannot see myself purchasing another one.
Now hold up.
Did you hear how I worded that?
Yes.
Hold up.
Do you think Marco would listen to you? He just sued. And now I'm
getting sued.
Okay, so quick question, Dennis. Does this mean
Paul's talking? He's gonna get sued before I do.
Yeah.
Does this mean then that you wouldn't buy any Microtech design secondary market where you don't send him money, but you see something on the secondary market you like?
I stopped looking at Microtech several years ago.
Fair enough.
That's a fair.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the only way that I would do it is...
I don't know what else to say other than, yeah.
No, that's fair. The only reason I ask that is because there is a certain subset of people who say, oh, I hate Cold Steel. I'll never buy any of their products from them or from a supplier. I will buy it secondhand from someone else, though.
That's okay. So this is the equivalent of an Aryan Nations gentleman walking into a knife store and asking if the made in China can be ground off of a World War II replica because it makes him feel better on the inside.
Yep.
And to that, most knife retailers should tell him politely to go F himself. If he wants that knife, he's going to go buy it.
Yep.
I thought for a second you were going to say
that's the equivalent of what you just asked, because in my mind, it doesn't matter where the knife came from.
But there are people.
Like a Gonzo.
There are people, though, that will drive that they will argue that you're not supporting the company directly, so there's no reason for you to feel bad about purchasing that particular design. And
when I signed on to be a Benchmade fanboy, I know I'm going to get haters. And screw you all. I still like their designs. I like their access locks. Yep. I'm gonna do it. So you owning that knife is a representative of you approving of that company and of that knife. In my mind,
like
some degree.
If you're out, like as far as like a Cold Steel one, if it's like one of their more bushcrafty outdoor, even like a machete, and you're out in the bush with a buddy, and they see that and see how much fun it is, they're going to remember it's a Cold Steel one, so it's still promoting them.
Right.
Even
That's
if
a
you
good point.
didn't pay
And the
money
flip
for it
side,
to them.
the flip side of that is if you see your buddy's Cold Steel break, and you think, wow, what a piece of shit, but it turns out
Yeah,
it was a counterfeit Cold Steel, and a real Cold Steel would never have broken in that very same situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I this wasn't me saying that I think you're not doing any harm in that particular scenario, but I did want to hear your thoughts on that because it's something that
But
is
honestly, that's a
discussed.
whole other topic, is the counterfeits and the bad reputation that brands get because of counterfeits. I'm sure Spyderco and Benchmade can attest to that a whole bunch.
Yep.
Right? But yeah, even still, it's representative of a company. And whether there's that green amphibian is as rare could goddamn be. I know Joe has a gray version
Yep.
that's slightly less rare, but still very rare, 20 years down the road type of knife, right? So I own it because I knew the rarity of it and I didn't know Microtech as a company.
At the
Yeah.
time, neither did I. Yeah.
And not saying like the SOCOM Elite, it's a nice build. It's a nice build on a knife. I can't question the fact that a SOCOM or SOCOM Delta or whatever that's out there, SOCOM Elites, they're nice knives. But I personally probably won't own one. I'm just saying. Like it's
Yep.
so
Going back to what Joe said before about Gonzo too, I've had this conversation with you guys about the fact that I wanted nothing more than to get the PM2 copy they had with the access lock, but I wouldn't buy it because I didn't want to support the company.
Yeah.
But I wanted a PM2 with an access lock. It seemed like such a fun knife,
Yeah.
but as much as I want it, I still didn't buy it.
called a Mannix. That's why I bought it 3 times so far. Like,
More or less, eh?
no, that's not true at all. A Mannix and a PM2 are nothing alike.
And
They're
an
just being
axis
smart
and an
knives.
axis lock. An axis lock has a much better action than the ball lock, I think, but that
Yeah.
aside,
Better action, but not necessarily stronger.
they're going to be pretty similar. Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir. That solid spring that the Anthem has, that the Mannix has, is inherently a stronger design than two
Oh,
wires.
the spring. I was thinking of actual lock strength in use rather than the
I'm looking
actuation.
at the
Yeah.
lock as a whole, but a ball bearing or a spring lock is going to be a stronger
Just-
inherently than any sort of dual spring.
Just because I
Yeah,
have
Does
it.
this count as an access lock?
Yes.
And they both do the same thing. They
That-
both shove the lock forward. But at the end of the day, I trust a solid spring more than I trust two wires that have been known to break on me. Like it's so.
Yep. Yeah,
Nigel,
I
you're
agree.
quiet over there. Your 2 cents.
What was that?
I said, Nigel, you're quiet over there. What's your 2 cents?
On what part?
Oh, as far as like,
Oh,
would you buy a knife? That sort of thing. From a company that maybe had an ill reputation, if you liked the design enough, or if you were buying it secondhand.
If there's a company that I wouldn't support, I wouldn't want to buy it secondhand just for that whole promoting it, for seeing someone else, like having someone else see it in my hand sort of thing.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is it's the image of, and it's kind of funny because Shabazz called himself a fashion blogger at several points in recent history, and I'm like, yeah, like 1,000%. You can't tell me that fashion isn't involved in a lot of these designs and in a lot of these, right? Like,
no, but he
they
also
make a
dives
statement.
he dives into gear bags, pens, and watches.
True.
So when you're talking about men's fashion,
But I
in
think
particular,
knives,
and not to exclude women, because I don't want to exclude the 3% that watch Dutch bushcraft knives that may or may not be watching our channel as well.
Yeah. They're there for the Dutch pushcraft boys. Let's be honest.
Have you seen his abs? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! Like, it's-
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a silly comment saying that, like, talking about fashion, this is the only way that a grown adult man can wear a butterfly and it's acceptable.
Oh, that's funny. I have
Or
that
an
shirt.
overgrown chick.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't tell me that's a spider. Yeah. No, but I think fashion does play a part into it. You're trying to look a certain way. You're trying to feel a certain way. You want to feel like a tactical operator? Well, shit, you better get yourself a Recon 1 or go for a Talwar,
seems
right?
how we've already called it out as being the classy, modern sort of thing. Like as far as fashionable goes, like
Yeah.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
a knife's not sexy, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
And everyone has a different definition of sexy, whether
Oh.
it's men, women, knives, whatever.
Some of us are into some pretty fucked up shit. I mean, what can I say?
Sexy
Yes,
is
you are,
sexy.
Joe.
And if you think it's sexy, then that's why you buy it. That's why you purchase it. That's why you fall in love with it, ultimately.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what aspect of your life it is, right? Like, so, yeah.
Fall in love for the curves.
That's why the things in my collection are in my collection, regardless of whether you agree with them or not. They're there because as soon as I look at them, I'm like, yeah, I like those things. Like it's so.
Nice butt.
Yeah.
I'm pouring
Zig-
another crazy beer.
Nice.
Right up
nice.
Zig's is
One
actually
is-
saying that technically speaking, a tick is an arachnid, so they're not far off.
Yeah.
Just for the record, that's the new one I'm onto. Delirium. Belgium? Belgian monks make that shit. It's good. You should drink it.
Does it taste
What
like
is-
beer?
It tastes deliciously like beer.
Pass.
One can hope, hey?
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Oh, Nigel
my
would
God.
gag from the smell of what I'm drinking right now. But Nigel is a wuss.
I think
I'm sorry that beer tastes like vomit.
Yeah. It's
De-
mainly
yeah,
the alcohol
delicious
category.
vomit, but
I think out of anything, like people talk about living back in time and living 500 years ago and like living like Vikings. It's not the lifestyle that Nigel would hate. It's the alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't
And part
know
of-
if you could make a apple cider sugary enough for Nigel to drink in the 14th century.
Nigel would be
And
the
part of the
angriest.
hardship about
Oh,
part
sorry.
of the hardship about all that is why alcohol became so prevalent is it was such hardship to have a clean water supply, so alcohol was still your liquid that
Yeah.
killed the
Weak
bacteria
beer.
in it and stuff.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Look at you
So
all
I'd be
throwing
pretty
some knowledge and
dehydrated, I
shit.
think.
Cheers
that,
to the
sorry?
knowledge, Nigel.
I'd be
Knowledge,
pretty
Nigel.
dehydrated.
Yeah. Having said that, you just needed to move to Russia.
Yes. I shall have my vodka.
Yes.
That's what I'm rocking too. So
It is good, yeah.
It's not far from Belgium. Those monks know what they're doing. We can
Yeah.
share. It's fine. It's fine.
that's it. Do we want to get on to question number 3?
Before we do,
Okay.
no, before we do, I just want to say tonight, for the entire episode and last half of an episode, I've been wearing a neck knife, and
Mhm.
neither Paul nor Joe, or Nigel nor Joe have called me out on wearing a neck knife.
No.
I didn't know we were supposed to. I noticed it, but
Yeah. I'm just saying. I figured it might come up in conversation somewhere along the way.
Is it the?
So-
Oh,
oh, you did grab that guy.
To give you
As-
an idea of
When-
Yeah.
that's pretty.
When we were talking earlier in the episode about Paul saying that he wanted to buy something with silver twill, that was popping up in my head. It was like, oh yeah, who was selling that off recently?
So I want to say it's as early as 2004. I don't think it goes into the 90s. But,
No.
somewhere in the 2002, 2004 area, the activator Snowdy came to be, and I needed to score one this week just because. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
So this
Snowdy
one-
design activator. I said it backwards. Is that what you're saying?
No. This one kind of verges into the last topic we were talking about of supporting people that you don't like. I bloody hate Snowdy. I would never buy one of his things, and that is such a hard one for me because that knife is so pretty and so awesome, and I was very tempted to snag it up as well, but I
Yep.
hate Snowdy so much that I don't want it.
And that's funny. Now I have to go look at some of Snowdy's back history and background.
Oh,
but
like
it
he
won't.
starts off his video like full grills, I'm bleeding money. Like he is way over the top. What the hell stuff?
But at the end of the day, a 20-year-old Benchmade that
yeah, it's
fell into
that
my
is a
lap.
sexy version. Like
It may or may not end up just like the Microtech. I also got the original leather sheath with it, which is the
Nice.
Benchmade sheath
Very nice.
on it. Yeah. This is the sheath it should come with. The guy I bought it off of said that he bought the sheath aftermarket, but this sheath is actually for the wood-handled D2 version
Okay.
that comes with the Kydex neck knife sheath, and the silver twill came with the leather. So somewhere he bought the D2 rosewood,
Right.
diamond wood. I don't know.
And I don't know if Joe did it earlier, but you should show it up to the camera and have Joe highlight you again, because like it is a sexy knife.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So Dennis, you just got to talk a bit here.
That angle right there is the best angle you can possibly see. Silver twill with normal carbon fiber. It's S30. It's thick behind the edge, just for the record. Yeah. She is a beast. It's tops thick when it comes to absolutely crazy. But yeah, it is a good looking knife. Silver twill on the back end, carbon fiber on the front end. S30. So nothing to write home about. But back in 2004, it certainly was.
Yeah.
So the fact made me want silver twill. And then I saw that thing. And I want silver twill even more.
As you should.
Is it Artemis? Is that the Russian dude on Instagram? Aramis. His silver twill paramilitary 2 scales are gorgeous.
I gotta say, Aramis scales from Russia is making the hottest aftermarket scales on the market right now, hands down, bar none. Easily.
Does he make grip scales?
Yes, he does.
Because
he doesn't make micarta, which was why I don't own it yet.
No, but do they do silver twill?
I don't think he does silver twill on the Griptilians. I think he does G10 and carbon fiber.
You could always request.
You could always request.
Silver twill and 20 CV seems like a match made in heaven.
Wouldn't be bad.
So I think we're on to our final question.
Yeah.
I think we are.
Just because I wasted 15 minutes talking about this goddamn night.
It's a pretty
And then
nice.
Nigel picked up about Snowdy, so.
Yeah. I was going to say, by 15 minutes you meant 23, but that's neither here nor there.
I didn't know anything about Snowdy. I didn't know there was a bit of a disruptive history past, whatever. Or is it just his style, Nigel?
I don't like for the most part, I don't like a lot of his designs. They're very aggressive, tanto-y, weird. And him as a person, I can absolutely not stand.
Okay. Because his folders from Benchmade, I think he did an activator folder or a levitator or something as a folding knife, and it didn't do it for me in the slightest. But yeah, this thing, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Jimmy
that one's a
Cocoa
sexy
Puff.
It's pretty,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a weenus.
So this week I spoiled myself with two things because the Rhino gets showed off all night. Oh my goodness!
Oh, of course.
Every
time you pick that up, I just have to hold this. I just have to hold my Anthem and be like, no, Paul, it's okay. You have a nice knife. You don't need a new knife. It's gonna be okay.
I did say that might be the nicest Benchmade ever made, and you may or may not hold me to that, depending on what time of the hour or what day it is. So,
Paul and I at the shop today, I flipped that thing open and it's just stupid buttery smooth now that it's worked in. Jesus. Yeah. That's just fantastic.
You don't want to admit it, but yeah, it's fantastic. The Anthem's a fantastic knife. Put a proper clip on it, you son of a bitch.
If they made a plain titanium clip, I would like, but it has to be. I don't want a spring clip. I think spring clips look weird on these things.
It needs to be just straight milled.
I'm not sure if Mr. Fisk is still here or not, but I want a milled clip. Mr. Fisk talks about the Lynch clip, and the Lynch clip is fantastic on a bunch of different models.
Give him something like
But
this.
No, but
something-
he's got a Lynch on the Anthem, doesn't he?
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I said. It's a great clip, but I don't think it looks right on the Anthem. I still want to try and get a second clip from Benchmade and see if I can take the dick off of it and just leave it like that.
Straight.
Leave it like this,
Just-
guy.
yeah.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to take a black Sharpie marker and just do it and leave it black Sharpie markered for a while and think about it. And then just take that goddamn plunge, Paul. Like,
You're a crazy person.
I've been doing this for 11 years, and how do you think I got as brave as I is? That's almost a sentence.
That's a sentence, kind of.
I'm going to drink some more Belgian beer. Here.
Before Dennis passes out, we should get to the next question.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Now
I
that
can go
we've
with
wasted another 5 minutes talking about Paul's penis clip again.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to talk about my dick clip in our videos as much as I possibly can. So there, take that.
I'd rather not.
Look at that, our viewership dropped to 0. That's weird. So the last question of the night was, which budget knife would you like to see an upgrade of? I guess is probably the end of that sentence. And right off the hop, what's up?
Oh, no, I just sighing.
Carry on,
enough.
Paul.
Carry on.
The first response came in from Mr. Fisk, and it's the CRKT Amicus Compact, which
Yes.
is a Vox design hollow ground Tanto, which is really nice. Like it's a Vox design. It's hard to go wrong, really.
Yeah, no, if you put that into the like a Viper knives or a Fox knives category and did it M390 with solid titanium or carbon fiber or whatever type of thing, that'd be a good looking knife. I'd detanto it, but it'd still be a good looking knife. Yeah.
Would you leave it with the hollow grind on the main portion of the bevel and then a regular grind on the tip?
Of course.
Okay.
I'd spanto it like Hinder. You know.
Okay. Spanto. I like it. Next answer we got in from Given PNW. And he's saying the CRKT.
How you doing, Nigel? You're back with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Just-
dove out for a second there.
Just switch
Okay, I didn't
positions.
realize it would leave. Yeah, I was just checking something in the settings.
Right.
Let's see. Continue
Carry
on.
on, Paul.
Given PNW came in with the CRKT Pillar, which I've got good news for you. It exists, but a titanium version with something S35 or above, steel-wise, I would be really happy with, especially if you put some ball bearings in that pivot and just really dial it in.
Okay, so they've done several versions of the pillar and exclusives, like Blade HQ did a carbon fiber S35.
No titanium, but it was still a nice iteration.
Yeah, I haven't handled one, so I can't say that. I saw their D2 S35 Drifter, or no, sorry, not Drifter, Squid, and it was a waste of my goddamn time. So,
Tell us how you really feel about it, Dennis.
no, that is how I really feel about it. But the D2 flippers haven't been bad directly from CRKT.
Yep.
But as far as the upgraded versions of a pillar, hasn't been one yet that has actually impressed me in execution, regardless of what the stats are on it and how nice it's supposed to be.
In my mind, part of the upgrade would be the fit and finish as well, as far as this questioning goes.
Yeah.
Especially when we're
grittiness of the bearings, like even type of thing, right? So yeah.
the smartass in me wants to say, have you seen giant mouse knives? Because, I mean, a lot of them are kind of Warncliffy and they're Vox designs, so they're not the same, but definitely similar.
There are
No, but
similar options,
even
but
if you look at the fox knives or viper knives,
Mhm.
there's a lot of pillory style blades out there from Jesper Vox that aren't necessarily a pillar, but
Yeah, very similar. There are options out there that you could get something close. And if you become buddies with what's his name on, is it Blade Chop on Instagram? He'll probably regrind it for you if you really wanted it to be like, this is a pillar.
ugh.
I'm just saying, he likes to chop things up.
and
That he
then
does.
I have to throw out the fact that as far as some of the Italian makers, they have been kind of busted on questionable heat treatments. So if you do go with a fox knife, if you do go with a viper knife, whatever it may be, a lion steel, are you getting a 59 or a 60, or are you getting a 52 or a 55 that you didn't bargain for? So there is a lot of that controversy going on right now that you have to be kind of wary of, regardless of how valid the claims are or not, right? So
He's talking shit about our people, Joe.
Hey, I have no defense.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, he's right.
Yeah. It's
lion
disappointing.
steel's been busted. Viper knives, apparently there's some theories. I don't know if I've actually seen any actual like stats on overclaiming what they actually are or not, but I know the theories are out there for sure. And then N690.
Yeah, that's a contentious topic, to say the least. I just want to give a quick shout out, or not shout out, but quick mention. John in Mississauga saying he got a CRKT drifter and he's not sure what he was thinking that day, which, as far as like a non-offensive, I need to cut a thread off my shirt, this is something that I can open in public and people aren't going to run away scared knife. The drifter's not terrible design-wise. It may not be the best execution.
No, I actually gifted one to my dad some years ago because he needed a knife that was basically disposable but could still hold a halfway decent edge. And it performed well for him, but it was a junk drawer knife essentially. Like he would take it out, abuse it, put it back. Occasionally I would resharpen it for him, and yeah. But
so I also have to ask, was it the G10 or the stainless steel version?
It was the
stainless two drifters out there.
Right, it was the stainless steel version.
Not for you, for our viewers. I don't care what your dad has.
Oh, fair enough. Well, maybe you should specify, bastard. John,
again, just a quick mention. Zing CD is saying that he loves his giant mouse knives and can't really say no to either a Vox or an Anzo design. And I definitely agree with the Vox side of things, and I like a lot of Anzo's stuff, but some of his stuff is just a little too weird for me.
Joe owns a Zulu, and he's going to show it right now because he knows that's what we're talking about. But
yeah,
the Zulu is a messed up knife from Genzanzu, man.
Oh, it's fucked up. I love it. Look at that.
That's an Anzo design? Seriously?
Look at that spoon. Look at that spoon.
That's a Genzanzu. Yeah.
Sure is.
It looks like a shoe.
It looks like a shoe.
Like a wooden clog.
Yeah, it feels like one in your hand too. That clip is the worst. That clip is the worst thing about this knife.
Have you seen the new Giant Mouse? It's like a Biblio, but it's like a clip point Bowie instead of the Warncliffe. It just came out within the last couple days.
No, I haven't. I like
just within the last couple days.
I like all the words you just said, but
like look it up, Joe. Show the boys.
Okay, so what the hell is it called?
Mouse, I want to say it's a Biblio, but it's like the newest. So
Biblio
if you type Giant Mouse knives, I know it'll come up super quick.
Bibliotech.
I don't know if it's actually a Biblio. It looks just like the micarta Biblio handle.
I'm disappointed in you, Nigel.
I'm glad that at least someone is shaking their head.
I skimmed over it. I knew what you said.
We just had two different conversations at the same time there. It was fantastic.
Are you talking about that guy right at the top?
Wow, we can't see anything of what you just said.
Make your phone rotate, Joe. Make your
You
phone
can't see it.
rotate.
You'd have to see. You have to get a whole picture of it. Google image.
I don't know the name though.
Did you just try giant mouse knives?
Well, I'm at their website. I figured that would be the place to go if I wanted to find new shit.
Okay, so I just looked at it in the
It looks like the one with the blue background there, Joe.
This guy here? Okay.
Yes.
Click it again. One more time.
Man,
Oh, it's the same picture, just
Yes. So that's the one. And I believe they do have a micarta handle on the backside of that knife.
I'll take my card in titanium.
so that is the Giant Mouse GM5 for those curious.
That's not the right knife.
You're the one who said it was the right knife.
I know, it looks proper.
Lies.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna send it to Nigel, and he's just gonna put it up here right in the middle after we're all said and done. So you have to go back and watch our videos because it's a trap like that. So
That's how you get them.
that's how you get them.
Not the GM6.
We got John and Zings talking in the chat about a Prima Carabiner thing. The Ace Grand from CRKT, I think, which is a Vox collab. I don't know what that is at all.
But they want an upgraded version of a keychain.
No, they're just saying that they picked one up recently. They can't afford Vox knives directly, so they get collabs with CRKT when they can.
The Prima was a weird little keychain crowbar knife that we carried from CRKT for a while.
You're a crowbar knife.
It wasn't a crowbar knife, it was just a crowbar with a keychain and a bottle opener and a couple thingies on the side. And it had
It doesn't sound like a knife at all.
had a window punch on the back. No, there was no knife.
I apologize. It's not a CRKT. The Ace Grand is from Giant Mouse.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zings. I appreciate it. I'm failing as a knife guy right now.
On that note, third
Any other
question.
answers?
Indeed. From Colt 45, they want to see a Spyderco Tenacious with an upgrade.
That's
I
gonna.
agree with that.
Yep.
It's also called a Mannix, but still,
Yeah, that's what I was
agree
going to say. Now that's the Mannix.
Nah,
the
the handle's nothing like it though.
Paramilitary.
Okay, the shaman then.
It's a liner locked paramilitary.
What? The
No.
no.
It's got a stronger tip than a paramilitary.
You're thinking of a different blade shape, I think, altogether.
I'm just thinking leaf blades and size range.
No, it's a poor man's Caribbean, is what it is.
Actually, that's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
But you have to shave off the front and the back, like kind of like grippy Copus D-guard thing a little bit on a Caribbean to make it a Tenacious. But the blade shape is the same. If you ground those two little prongy things off a little bit.
It's just a half serrated one, but yeah.
Didn't they make a lightweight version of that thing?
They did. They did.
It's just, I just watched the review of it. It's fucking
Lightweight.
retarded.
It sure is. Dennis, you
I'm
can't.
gonna drop an F-bomb because it's worth it. Because Spyderco with their lightweight shit.
No, Dennis. Lightweight. it's something like what? It's an ounce lighter than the G10 version.
Look,
It's still like 3.7 or 3.6 or something. It's not lightweight in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like
it's lighter.
It's
not
Tenacious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bug out at the end of the day, and we know that.
Like I think the lightweight Mannix is actually lighter than it because it goes linerless, and I think the Tenacious still has a liner in it, even though it's light.
Apparently, Justin would like to correct both me and I think it was Dennis that said it was the Mannix, saying the Tenacious is taller than a PM2 and the Mannix is dual choil, but it's a Mannix blade shape or.
Yeah. He's right. There is no choil on a Tenacious.
What's the one that I polished out for you, Joe?
That was the bigger brother to the Tenacious. That was the Resilience, and I do like that platform. It's about as big as a Spyderco Military, but the blade is nice and wide all the way through. I would actually pass over the Tenacious in favor of that knife being upgraded.
Well, even do that whole line in S30 would be kind of okay.
Yeah, I would
But then
buy one
there's a
again.
bunch of different knives.
Sorry, what was that?
But then you'd have to go back to Golden, Colorado,
Yes.
and actually like do them proper because they couldn't be China and they couldn't be Japan. So if they were properly done, it would be Golden, Colorado for a Tenacious series.
Yeah.
Justin also says that, Tenacious is taller, PM2. The Mannix has dual choil, and then also gross. So I'm not sure if he's saying the paramilitary, the Mannix, or the Tenacious is gross, or all of them. I don't. Does Justin own any Spydercos?
He owned a para, didn't he?
Many Spydercos.
So it must be the Tenacious that he's given hell to.
You're going to be following on his heels as far as the Dragonfly collection goes.
Fair enough. We're gonna have to fight over the K390 when it comes in.
Yeah.
No, I'll give it to him.
Karate punch each other. Did you
Yeah.
think you'd sell it to him over me? Traitor.
You heard me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just like Blade HQ, sometimes the employees get cut off. Like that's it.
Womp womp.
EDC Lovers Pakistan says CRKT Minimalist Cleaver, which I don't know about the cleaver specifically, but Alan Foltz makes 154 cm versions of all the minimalist designs other than the cleaver. I know for sure.
Yeah, you bet. If you want a minimalist cleaver, just buy an Allen Pulse custom because they're not actually that expensive.
No, there's
No.
something like 200 Canadian or 250 Canadian, and they're very well made.
Well, on average, it's 100 to 125 American for an Allen Pulse minimalist custom.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Right, yeah.
You're never going to see a higher production value version because you would literally be stepping on Alan Folt's toes when it comes to his versions, like his.
But having said that, I mean, Blade HQ has released S35 carbon fiber variations of knives in the
Really?
past. And if you threw a minimalist of any variation with S35 and a carbon fiber handle, people would eat it up.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
of course. I'm not saying that they wouldn't make money on it. I just think that Alan Foltz is like, no, you make these ones, I make the fancy ones.
Yeah. So realistically speaking, just go buy a custom because they're not, like, as far as getting into the custom world, because it's such a small knife, it's actually very reasonable to.
Justin's mocking me in chat now because successbaby.jpg K390 Dragonfly.
Oh yeah,
That's fair.
I like that.
I'll just buy Genesis before he can buy his. Or not,
What other answers we got?
The next one actually is interesting. This is a name that's not really a name. It's GIJS.IJZ Zimmerman's something or other. I'm going to apologize now. It's apparently longer than my screen can see. But they came out with a response, the Kershaw Launch 4, which
Really?
the Kershaw Launch 4, if you're not sure which one it is the version that looks very similar to a lot of ProTech models. It's the short,
It's small
pyramid. It's the nice little one. Yeah,
They're already using CPM 154 and nice aluminum milled handles.
And wasn't the Blade HQ version an upgraded? Because they had a Blade HQ exclusive.
Yeah, they upgraded to. Oh, I'm gonna look that up.
S30 instead of 154 or something like that. It might have stayed 154. But Blade HQ did have an exclusive on the Launch 4 as well. Because I think that knife's sexy as hell and I want it because it's so wee and so cute when it comes to stabbing. So
no judge would convict you over that knife. They might.
Ha.
Don't. This isn't legal advice.
You just give them the fluttery
Oh.
Bambi eyes.
Dennis.
And you can get away with it.
So they had a number of Late HQ exclusives. They have
They
one.
had an orange one turn. They had a rescue orange one.
Yeah, they also have one in Damascus.
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Of course.
That's cool as hell.
What I was gonna say is if you fancied up the steel and you fancy up the handle, you're gonna end up with a Protec.
So
And I think as far as autos go, if Kershaw's trying to compete with Protec, they're not gonna win that fight.
no. Also, the Blade HQ exclusive that used blue also has Damascus steel.
That's pretty. That is
That's
very pretty.
it's cool.
That looks just like a black blade, though.
Yeah, it's because my screen on this camera it doesn't work out well, but it is Damascus.
Do
I
better,
will
Joe.
say
Fine,
with-
here. It's Damascus.
it is Damascus.
Yeah.
I will say, with all honesty, though, too, when it comes to blue aluminum anodizing, I think Kershaw and ZT, which are the same company, knock it out of the park. I don't think there's anybody else doing that specific blue better on the market.
Their powder coated aluminum in particular knocks it out of the park.
They're powder coated.
I believe so. I think that's what all those colors are.
I
It's
thought they were.
powder-coated there.
I thought they were just straight anodized.
Yeah. I thought they were blue anodized as well.
But it's not titanium. It's aluminum.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
can
but they-
you can anodize aluminum.
Yeah. And it might be anodized. It might be like
But they're
I think
they're
you're actually
specifically-
right. I think it is actually anodized now that I think about it. But it is aluminum, not titanium.
It is aluminum.
Even still.
It doesn't specify on Blade HQ. I guess we could look at their Kershaw's website, but either way, it doesn't matter. They do fantastic work.
Top notch for sure.
The last answer was from Tom's with a couple X's and underscores and such, saying the Kershaw Injection 3.0, which it's not the exact direct comparison to the CRKT. What's the new one that came out this year? The Mon. What's
The
that one?
the Montosa.
So
Montosa, I think.
It reminds me of a Montosa quite a bit.
Yeah,
Quite
they're
a bit.
quite a bit. There's some similarity in the 3D milling for the handles.
The injection is still the same blade shape as an 801 or an 804, or if you look at the blade on the Rexford injection, because that's who designed it, it's still very much in
What's-
that same
So
platform.
what I'm hearing is Tom should go get himself an 804 off the secondary market.
F&A cotton he should, but the 3D milling with the rounding, if they made that out of carbon fiber with like a 204P, like took this and then took the injection handle instead of just slabs and made
Yeah.
the same blade. Yeah,
That's the
the-
injection.
Good looking knife.
and people couldn't get rid of the injection because it was an HCR knife, and so they were giving it away for like $14 and $20 because after it got discontinued, no one wanted that knife. And it's the most underrated knife ergonomically. It fits the hand so fantastic.
It's a nice one
I
for sure.
just want to point out Justin is agreeing with us on this, that it is anodized aluminum for the knockout,
Yeah.
the blurs, things like that.
He'd know those things.
So there. And that's actually the end of the questions for this week.
I have two answers for
Hey, that's my thing.
upgrading budget. I'm pulling a Joe.
Yeah.
Unless
yeah.
Joe's going to pull a Joe first, and then I can double Joe.
If everybody's pulling Joe,
Don't pull me, please. I've had enough of
I'm
that.
not bullying anything.
That's Joe times 8 if everyone's double pulling Joe. Like, just, yeah.
That's what I'm
I just
saying.
said I'm not.
Thank you.
Hey,
this stream
First
is
of
going
all-
to end prematurely.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna lead it off because I mean the mini tough.
Well,
I
or a tough
agree.
light. Cold
Yeah.
Steel hinted it during their April Fools that they were going to make it full size. And everyone actually lost their crap about it. If you guys made any sort of tough, mini tough, tough light, whatever, with an XHP, an S35 or whatever, a shaman style rounded handle, that thing would be a shaman killer.
Just keep the blade geometry exactly how it is now, because it is thin and slicey. Cold Steel's hollow grinds are on frickin' point. I wish I still had that mini. I lost mine a while ago, and it just sucks because that was such a nice little cutter. Yeah. Sure. Okay, I agree with that pick 1,000%. Yes. What was your other pick?
I'm not telling you. What's the other answers?
For me, and I was laughing so hard throughout all the viewers' answers because there were so many CRKT answers, but it's just throw CRKT's catalog into a hat and pick one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
CRKT. Just CRKT in general. Just upgrade all their shit. They need to come up with a ZP platform for CRKT.
Yes, they do. Actually, that would be a great solution. Paul and I were talking about this earlier today. I'm looking at picking up a knife that's extremely similar to the Crossbones, actually. That's using M390 instead of this Oz 8, which is using titanium instead of this aluminum, and it's a frame lock. And the thought had occurred to me, was like, well, why not get the full Crossbones M390 limited? Because they're still available from CRKT's website. The problem is, for me, there's no trust. I can't trust that I'm going to buy that M390 Crossbones and that I'm going to be happy with it. If I could inspect it in person beforehand, there's a good chance I would buy it. But because I can't do that, it's a null deal. Just because
and you're probably paying the same price that you would be for a Jeff Park Crossbones custom, almost at that price.
For his mid-techs, yeah, they're around 300-400 at shows. So if I could talk to somebody who was going to a show, I could give them money, and they could eventually ship one back to me, and I would love that. But I agree with Nigel. Yeah, any one of CRKT's designs really could benefit from an upgrade, but there has to be a consistency. It has to be a company-wide sweeping consistency from one product to the next. None of this bullshit.
Like I said earlier, for the sake of the question, I was considering the quality of production and fit and finish as part of the upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question, Nigel? Which CRKT stands out the most to you? Because I have an answer in my own mind, and I'm just curious what yours is.
There's too many.
Okay.
That's fair.
The rest of the boys, or anyone viewing us online, if you have answers for a particular CRKT other than the pillar, because CRKT keeps on coming up. But yeah.
For me, the Amicus comes into play for me.
That's too close to a GM though.
No, I think. Well, okay. So if you're not going to let me take that and upgrade it, shit. Now you see now I got to think.
Because I agree with you. The Amicus needs an upgrade, but there is Viper knives out there. There is Giant Mosa knives out there. Is really really close to an Amicus.
Okay, but you could also make that argument for 98% of what a CRKT makes anyway, because they don't really have any in-house designs. They're all working with custom makers and other manufacturers for collaborations.
No, but you're still Viper knives is still factory production. Giant Moves is mid-tech like Chris Reeve or Hinder or whatever, or whoever else. You're not in the custom world yet.
No, well, I don't know. Like, okay, for me, being wild wacky, I would like to see the Psych done up in the Psych.
Yeah,
that would be a cool one.
If you pimped out a Psych with even 154, I'd be okay with that dagger design. Or D2 or S35.
But again, so long as they do it correctly, like the build quality is actually not that far off on that particular knife. Every one that I've handled has been just about perfect. Few exceptions, but yeah, for me, with my style, what I like, I'd grab a Psych.
I want the Psych in S45 specifically, because we were talking before about how stable it is at a thinner edge, and that knife is thin as hell. And it would be a really good combination, I think.
with a dagger, especially. That
Yep.
You can thin out the edge and still have cutting ability as well as puncturing with an S45. That's smart. That's smart.
Yep.
If you made the handle a 16th of an inch wider and grounded on both sides too, just to appeal to the WAP in my heart,
He lives
I would really
in
appreciate it.
that WAP lives in both of us, I'm afraid. Yeah. And you know that I would buy 2 of them.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I know that Rook already makes a couple upgraded versions, but specifically the 661, that small little Warncliffe-y slash, that's the one. I want that.
And for the record, the 661 is the drop point. The 662 is the Warncliffe.
Way to fail, Paul.
And this
Come on.
was my second answer.
It's a goddamn Rook, and I remember the number at least mostly.
He got
Give
it.
me some goddamn credit.
He was only off
This
by 1.
This was actually my second answer, Paul, just for the record. So
Fair enough.
Touchdown and such.
but then they started to talk about CRJT, so I have 3 answers now. So
Well, there you go.
But
You really are like channeling your inner Joe.
if they put out an M390 version of this with like a molded, rounded carbon fiber, like I could just call it a Warncliffe Ballet and put it in my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be fine.
Would you
It would-
carry it even though it's right hand only?
You bet I would. Okay, so I've got a Wee Knife Pleroma, I've got a Contigo, and I've got a Rhino that is right hand only. So if I have to carry 2 knives, I have to carry 2 knives, and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
I think the argument at the end of the day can really come down to the fact of there's left-handed, and then the other hand is the one that's named after being correct. And really,
Okay, for the record, I talked to Jabo, and he's willing to tackle left-hand frame locks and left-hand pocket clips for his custom designs. So
that's a good.
he's willing to twist his mind a little bit when it comes to the custom stuff to maybe get my ultimate knife. We'll see.
Just get him to mill those scales so you can swap the clip.
My third answer, actually, because
Hey. I want to give my second
Joe.
one.
Okay, go ahead. Do it
Good.
up.
Yeah.
I'll save it.
Do it. I'm going to bring it back to Kershaw. I want this knife with an M390 blade.
What's that one called again?
This is the Induction. Model number is 1905. It features the Hawk Lock, and it is currently rocking 8CR13 MOV. Just a travesty of a steel for a design this good.
It is the nicest action that Kershaw
That
makes.
knife needs to be a ZT. is
Yes.
What that knife needs to be.
I don't care if it's S35. I don't care if it's 204P. I just want it to be something elevated. The action. This is probably my favorite action out of almost any knife I own at any price point. And that is, it hurts for me to say because I've spent a lot of money on some of my folders. And for this to be this good, mechanically and ergonomically, I want this to be better. And I keep hoping that Blade HQ does an exclusive or that somebody picks this up and decides, you know what, this needs to be better. Even if they kept the aluminum scales, I'd be okay. Even if they kept the plastic cover, I'd be okay. But, I mean, I would hope
But the
that they...
worst part is ZT is in this weird like outbidding match with every other factory production company on the market to come out with something better.
Yeah.
So the G&D Hawk design got left in the dust 10 years ago. Regardless of if ZT made that, that would be the best ZT they made, easily, hands down.
Yeah.
It would be so freaking awesome. They put 20 CB on that with some sort of titanium handle or blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if
We
you could
all
see...
own that knife.
I don't know if you could see how
Except for
thin
Nigel.
that edge gets. Well, Nigel hates the sound of it opening, but
That's what I was going to say. Is I can already
Yeah.
see the PTSD running across Nigel's eyes from having to hear that thing pop open 1,000 times if we all owned one.
but
Okay, but having said that, though, you can question the action on it.
No.
no.
Like, even,
So-
no, but Nigel himself, like, regardless of what he hates about the fact that we fidget with our fucking knives and Joe's terrible with it, the action on that knife is so smooth.
Yep.
that it deserves to be in something better than a fucking $75 Kershaw.
Yeah. Just to interject, for those who are not aware, there's 2 sets of springs inside and 2 sets of stop pins. The beauty of this design of the lock is that when this opens, there's a separate spring that activates the detent. So it has nothing to do with the lock mechanism itself, won't go. So what you do is you press, gets over the detent, the lock is what stops it, and then you overcome the detent spring. It's so smooth. And again, I've never felt anything quite like it.
Isn't that what ZT just trademarked or whatever for their new?
No. That's the tune detent. That's a different thing.
Yeah, CRKT did a tune detent for their the
deadbolt.
Thank you. Yes, Nigel, the deadbolt. They had an adjustable detent, but that was working off of a ball bearing. This actually, I've taken this apart. There's a steel plug that works against a stop pin. Like, the amount of effort that went into designing and manufacturing this thing, you may as well have made it at least out of 14C. Like, quit fucking around.
American made at 14C would have been the best option for that knife for sure. It doesn't deserve to be Chinese made.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were saying about the detent on the ball you looked into for the ZT model. Is it on a spring? Like, what is it that makes it tuned?
The 707, we don't know until we get to play with it, dude.
I know, but Joe was saying that he had looked into it a little bit.
So sorry. No, I thought you were talking about the deadbolt lock.
Deadbolt. And the Hawk and Hawk is kind of, but this new tuned detent from ZT is a whole different beast.
So
apparently,
there's
even on a frame lock with a lock bar, you can put your thumb as hard as you possibly can against the lock bar, and the new 707 will fire open like it should.
Really? Because the only
I'm speculating that it's a ball bearing on a spring, like the Smock.
See, I don't know about that because I've seen guys, and I wish I could remember where I had seen this, but somebody was working on an adjustable detent that goes into a stainless steel lock insert so that you could adjust a secondary screw, and that would adjust the depth of the ball, the pressure of the spring against the ball that goes into the blade. It was a very smart system, but I don't think that's what ZT's doing. So I don't know how you could.
No, it's a tuned detent system.
I don't know how the hell that would work. Yeah,
specifically what their patent is, and it's specifically that you can press as hard as you can against the lock bar and still fire that knife super smooth.
And for the record, ZTs, if you do that, they don't fire.
They don't work anymore.
That's one of my favorite things about liner locks. You can squeeze as hard as you want. It's not going to affect the action.
So that's very specifically what ZT's new patent is you can squeeze the shit out of it and it still just springs.
That's crazy.
Nobody's business.
For the record, I've claimed the lock bar issue with the ZTs as a feature. If somebody was to grab a hold of your knife out of your pocket, 9 times out of 10, that person that grabs it would have no idea how to get your knife open. Just saying.
Sometimes it's a hard sell to.
Oh, sometimes you gotta turn it around on itself, right?
The Pena's detent it's a good thing I'm a lefty and my thumb actually is off the lock bar, but more than one righty has pressed their fingers against the lock bar and tried to figure out why they can't open that knife, right? It's so.
I have enough ZTs in my collection that I was able to fire it on my first swing, though.
That's what she said.
Oh. Hey, she has ZTs in her collection, then hey, maybe she's worth keeping around.
No, it was more the firing it on her first swing, but it's Paul. I
was trying to ignore that part of it.
I'm gonna cut you on Wednesday.
I'll see you in 2 days.
Yeah. Nice.
We got one more break, and do we want to call her quits here?
Well, you had a third knife you wanted to. I interrupted you for the induction, but
no, and unless Nigel has a
no
knife that he wants to see upgraded.
I gave my answer as specific as I had. Let's just CRKT.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm gonna interject here just to be a jerk, and they've already done a like an upgraded version as a what's the word I'm looking for? Exclusive is the word I'm looking for. I think it was a Blade HQ specifically exclusive. But I want to see a CEO in a fancied up rendition from
They did
CRT.
him.
Yeah.
They did a micarta with a D2, but that's not necessarily like fancy. That's just
No,
like a
that's fair.
step up.
So
Yeah,
knowing
but-
Paul, having that back pommel pill crusher thing being Timascus.
I'll take it.
Nah, make it
And
out of
if you make it like one single plate, that's the pill crusher into the clip with Timascus.
Ooh, I actually like that.
I know, because I'm not dumb.
That'd be pretty cool. You see, though, okay, I agree with the CEO, but
What?
how about this? How about this? Marbled carbon fiber, M390, brass pill crusher. And maybe
No.
like a brass pivot ring. Got to go for that gold
No.
and black look.
No,
Marbled
brass
carbon
baby.
fiber,
Brass
M390,
baby.
Timascus, Pill Crusher, and Clip. That's perfection.
All right.
Silver 12.
Why don't we take a quick break? We'll jump into a third session if we want to. And I'll give my third answer, and then we can call her quits on a short note if there's no other questions.
Yeah.
Can do.
Indeed.
So yeah, hang out in YouTube land. We're gonna have that quick little break thing again and freshen our drinks and all that.
The Belgians can't keep my beer full.
Those damn Belgians. See you
We'll
soon.
be back shortly.
We don't need